It's the Forever Knight-athon. We're recapping and reviewing every single episode of Season 1 of the 1990s Canadian police procedural about a vampire detective taking a bite out of crime. Oh boy, episode 16, Only the Lonely, opens on something we've never seen before on Forever Knight. A woman being murdered. She's murdered by this incel she's dating who murders women when they don't have sex with him. At first, he seems like the perfect date, a little hunky guy that's going on dates and being nice. But then when women are like, let's not have sex, I don't want to, he goes and kills them about it. See, this dude, what he's doing is that he's extorting a guy who worked at a dating service but was also fired for being a weird creep that does sex crimes to people. Then he goes on a few dates with the women to see if they'll put out, and if not, it's murder time, baby. And so he doesn't intend to murder any of these women. He wants to just control them sexually, but he ends up murdering them because it turns out that's a thing people don't like. Don't know why then he went through this weird back alley deal. Feels like that's just there to make it, pad out the episode, make it a more difficult mystery for the cops to solve, but okay. Pretty typical Forever Knight bad guy, dime a dozen. There's nothing to differentiate him from all of the other super entitled woman murderers that we've seen so far. Except for one thing, which is notable, he is dating Natalie. Uh-oh. See, it's Natalie's 30th birthday, and she's got the blues because she has to spend it all alone. Her crush is a centuries-old vampire who, despite being weirdly jealous and possessive throughout this episode, knows he can never be with her. Sure, he can be with all of the other women in Toronto, no problem, but with his true love? No way. No, that just can't work. He's too ontologically evil for that. Well, evil and thoughtless, because he also completely forgot her birthday until Skanky reminded him. Imagine being less thoughtful than Donald Skanky. He has to go buy her a bouquet of flowers and a card and stuff last minute. Flowers. The classic friendship gift. The gift that you get someone you have no romantic intent towards. Another thing you might do if you have no romantic intent towards someone is break into their home when they don't answer the phone and snoop around because you're jealous of their new serial killer boyfriend. She meets this serial killer guy, when she bumps into him and gives him a hunky nosebleed, and she gives him her scarf to staunch the blood. This episode's flashback brings us all the way to Anno Domini 1990, when Nick and Natalie first met. A corpse is wheeled into the morgue, and Natalie is warned that he's looking pretty gnarly. This guy got involved in a gang-related explosion, but when she turns her back, some blood that was, on the gurney, for some reason, gets mysteriously sucked into the body bag. And when she unzips it, she's surprised not to see a mangled body, but a hottie with a body. Also, he's a vampire, worth noting. He gurgles up a blood bag that I guess they had at the morgue in case one of the dead bodies needed a quick transfusion. Speaking of blood in the morgue, back in the present, they're running DNA tests on the blood found at the scene of the killings, but they need a control blood for the DNA test. And so Natalie's like, I don't know, I get some of my boyfriend's blood on my scarf. Just use that. Just go with it. Back in the olden days of 1990, Nick and Nat get to talking, and he's like, hey, maybe none of this happened. Did you ever think of that? Maybe none of this happened, and you don't even remember it. And she's like, I get that you're trying to hypnotize me, but it's not working. And he's like, fuck, all right, well, forget it, forget me, forget all of this. You don't want to get mixed up in this?
No one can help me. My immortality is a curse. A fall from grace. Evil is a metaphysical condition.
Yeah, I bet you thought I was joking about the whole ontologically evil thing, didn't you? Don't know why he's talking like that. Also, he doesn't usually talk like that, but in this flashback, he very much does. Natalie's like, I don't think you are evil, actually. You got exploded trying to help people. But maybe we could use science to help you become human, thus beginning their hamburger-based partnership. Lucky for her, because she turns down her new boyfriend's weird sexual advances while they're alone in a remote location, and so he's gonna get her. But then Natalie's assistant goes to Nick and says, we traced the DNA. It's coming from inside the boyfriend. And so so what he does is then he finds out where Natalie is by reading her fucking diary, which he was already doing. You creep. Jesus, Nick, you creep. What the fuck, man? Our hero saves her, which sucks because it would have been cool if she somehow saved herself, because like that would kind of bring the story full circle, because Nick is like he's holding himself back, and he claims that he's doing that to protect her. But if she saved herself, it would prove that she's like competent and capable and can look after herself. So he's kind of just afraid to get close, and that would, kind of advance the story. But anyway, mixed bag this episode. I love the origin story of Nick and Nat meeting because he was brought to the morgue. That's a great little spooky way to get these characters to meet. I saw this episode 30 years ago, and this image has stuck with me ever since, so it's clearly quite effective. The flashback stuff is all great. Love that. But the A-plot is a little thin, and Nick comes off pretty bad. He's somehow simultaneously oblivious to Natalie's feelings for him, but also weirdly entitled and possessive. It kind of feels like he's deliberately stringing her along, if anything, like, oh, he can never be with her because of on account of he's a vampire. But his ego can't accept that she might then be like, okay, well, if the vampire won't date me, I'll go date a different kind of murderer. Thankfully, Natalie is very well fleshed out. We see how her job is alienating, and she shuts herself off to avoid the loneliness it causes her, as she deflects her feelings with humor because she doesn't want to let people get too close. It's all good stuff, and Catherine Disher does a great job selling her as this acerbic but likable little nerd. There are these little moments where she reflexively puts herself down.
You're a brave woman, Doctor.
I'm just glad that Nick was able to get to me in time before I had a chance to prove what a simpering coward I really am.
She's clearly uncomfortable with attention and praise.
So, how's your nose?
Well, I can still smell things. Grass, flowers, good perfume.
Ah, yes, I believe I'm wearing a formaldehyde-based scent today.
But it's not like she's not confident. She knows her worth. She's just not a romantic. Words mean very little to her, which makes sense, right? Like, her job is disgusting, and a more sensitive person would have a lot of difficulty doing it. She cuts up corpses all day. She's not going to be the sentimental type. But this also means that she has trouble communicating her feelings back. She doesn't do well in the abstract and emotional. She's a very rigid thinker. And she absolutely takes no shit from anyone, which makes all of the scenes between her and Murder Man very tense. We know that if he steps out of line even a little bit, she's going to tell him off. And when she do, that's when the murder is going to start. He's going to start murdering, and he's not going to stop until the murdering is done. Also, there's this little subplot about how Skanky's wife is trying to set Natalie up with a guy, and she doesn't want to do it. She runs away before he can meet her, and he's a hunky guy. Oh no, she could have been Mary Janed. Face it, Tiger, you just missed the jackpot. And I'd like to thank the people who will forever be my knights over at patreon.com/scaredycats. In particular, I'd like to thank Verbena, Cooper Holmes, Joe McClory, Liz Widow, Maston Ginger, James Garford, C.H. Phillips, Gideon, Charlotte Hollingsworth, Devin Kaler, Spooky Heather Sylvia, and definitely Todd. And I, Bobby Duke, the star of the channel, would like to thank the following people who's also the stars of the channel on account of their support on patreon.com/scaredycats. We got Jay Torney, Schadenfraulein, Lanston, Rachel Rat, Kato Moore, Carpad, Josh Manez, Hyla Tracy, Louisa Prito, and Jesse. Well, can you believe the shenanigans Nick Knight and his pals got up doing this one? Hey, we're gonna keep going all January, baby. You wanna get these videos a day early? Go on over to Patreon. Oh, wait. You can just wait. I mean, how bad do you need it,